Iran, because of the great leadership of the Shah, is an island of stability in one of the more troubled areas of the world. This is a great tribute to you, Your Majesty, and to your leadership, and to the respect and the admiration and love which your people give to you. The transformation that has taken place in this nation is indeed remarkable under your leadership.
All along, the Carter administration was pretending to support the Shah. But these illegal negotiations started as early as October 1978, when people like Theodore Elliott Jr. were sent to get into discussions with Khomeini and his people. The Shah, in his memoir, Answer to History, writes, "In my belief, France, Germany, and Britain finally agreed with the American proposal that I should be gone." In January of 2002, Alexander Haig, in an interview with Newsmax.com, says, "Then you look at Iran, which became the crucible of fundamentalism, coupled with terrorism, a situation we totally misread. Prior to his takeover of Iran, Ayatollah Khomeini was camping near Paris, giving daily news conferences to a fawning international press corps. Without a murmur of complaint to France from the United States about the disaster it was coddling in the incredibly naive liberal belief that this extremist cleric would be an improvement over the Shah."
Is it fair to assume that some covert activities that have taken place over the years have never been revealed to the public?
I don't think one should comment on that. I really don't.
Yes. But what I'm asking is, does the fact that we sometimes engage in clandestine or covert operations in any way damage our moral position?
Let me comment on this, Ed, because it's a very, very touchy issue.
Alexander Haig, who wasn't afraid to express his true views, adds, "For years we leaned on the Shah for land reform, which led to the expropriation of the massive land holdings of the clergy, which in turn triggered the clergy's revolution against the monarchy. And when the Shah found himself in trouble, we quite literally stabbed him in the back." Haig adds, "It didn't take long for the world to realize that the Shah was an enlightened liberal, next to the bloody reactionary regime that followed, and which executed more people in 3 months than the Shah had done in 30 years.
فقط زیر سر امریکا و این آقای پینات بتر در ایران بهش میگن پینات بتر
جیمی کارتر
پینات بتر اسمش چی بود؟
کارتر
جیمی کارتر همش اون بوده و با هایدر آورد پلوشان نشست گفت باید بری جنرال هایدر حالا یه دادگاهی هم در این مملکت نیست که اینه بیاره جلو بگه تو چرا این کار کردی. شاید تریلیون ها به امریکا ضرر زد. همین کارتر.
During the tumultuous year of 1978 in Iran, many Iranians concluded that unlike what is said publicly, the U.S. and then President Jimmy Carter were undermining the Shah and along with other Western countries were effectively pulling the rug from under the one who was considered their closest ally in the Middle East. Brent Scowcroft's notes from the early times of Gerald Ford's presidency and even Nixon's last days suggest that the attempt to backstab the Shah of Iran had started well before Jimmy Carter's infamous actions and inactions regarding Iran's revolution. It was all about the oil and OPEC. On December 23, 1973, the Shah invited OPEC ministers to gather in Tehran for a meeting. OPEC announced that the official oil price had increased from $5.03 to $11.65 per barrel. The Western media immediately reacted and accused them of a subversion attempt against the Western economy. The Shah tried clearing the air by calling a press conference to summarize the new oil policy and its benefit to the entire world. He explained that the new oil price was adequate for the time being, but not good enough. He explained that the world's economic order could not be restored unless the oil price reaches its natural value against other essential commodities.
We producing countries are owners of that underground wealth, which unfortunately one day is going to finish.
In his last few months of life, the Shah wrote, "I tried to explain that it is highly irregular and disgusting to see a highly valuable source of energy and industry, oil, should be cheaper than Evian water. I explained that with cheap oil available, no one goes after alternative energies. That if the oil price continues as cheap as it is, no one bothers to preserve and save it either, and in a few decades, all the oil wells will dry out. The world will face a critical shortage of energy, and it will crumble and fall unprepared."
Many people watching you tonight, watching you talking to us now, many people in Britain, some of them cold, some of them quite poor, will be asking themselves what it is that you and certainly some of your Arab counterparts, sheikhs and rulers and governments, have against them. Does it in any way serve your interests
to
make a British economy suffer?
Why against? First of all, it's not British economy. If you want to say anything, it should be the world economy. And this is not against, we are just defending our chips. Because for such a long time, we have just been, exploited, I can say that. And why don't you say that when the price of wheat was augmented by 300%, they had something against us? We had to buy it, or soybean, or steel products, or petrochemical products, which in some cases have augmented by 30 times. So did you have anything against us when you augmented those prices? Or what I buy from you, even weapons, the price that you are charging today is not what you were charging 2 months ago. It's increasing have you something against us?
But as the Shah wrote in answer to history, it was not strange to see with signal from international pressure groups, the Western media only paid attention to the first part of my proposal about the increase of oil prices and ignored the rest. The Shah writes, a different approach would have taken away totally their excuse to launch a propaganda attack against oil exporting countries.
Who cares? They can say anything they want. My country is making close to 40% growth, constant price, while their country is in the red. So they can say whatever they want.
In his last few weeks of presidency, before his forced resignation, Richard Nixon was under attack from every possible and impossible front. He was simply unable to defend the Shah against his now awakened enemies within America, mostly from certain business sectors represented by some government officials. Bill Simon, then the Treasury Secretary, with close ties to big business, had found the ideal situation to go after the Shah. In private, then in public. The roots of his animosity, then unknown. On July 9th, 1974, Bill Simon discusses possible solutions for America's energy crisis with Richard Nixon when he brings up Iran by saying, "There are more stringent things we could do. Is it possible